The film opens with a convent sister praying before a picture of Mother Mary, begging for forgiveness for the crime she is about to commit. She writes something on the back of the picture, grabs a small bag, steals the keys from her in-charge's room, and heads to the main gate to escape. But just as she tries to unlock it, several men in black gowns and red masks suddenly appear. Terrified, she tries to squeeze through the gate without opening it, but one masked man grabs her leg, slams her against the gate, and breaks it. When she wakes up, she is inside a coffin. She screams, she cries, and scratches the walls of the coffin, but no one hears her, and she slowly suffocates to death. The scene then cuts to Sister Cecilia, who has just arrived at the same Italian convent. She's from the US. When the security officers ask her the purpose of her visit, Cecilia explains that a strange thing happened when she was a child. She drowned in a lake. Her heart stopped for 7 minutes, and the doctors declared her dead. Yet, she came back to life. She believes God revived her for a special purpose, and she came here to find it. Later, Mother Superior seems pleased with her arrival, even though she barely understands Cecilia because everyone speaks Italian except Sister Isabel, who knows English but refuses to speak to Cecilia out of dislike. Cecilia is given a tour. The convent, she learns, is a home for older nuns who are cared for until they die. As she listens, an elderly nun suddenly walks up and asks, "Have you seen my father?" Isabel quickly pulls her away. The woman has lost her mind. That night, Sister Isabel quietly tells Cecilia she doesn't have to take her vows if she feels unsure. But Cecilia ignores the warning. When the ceremony begins, she confidently steps forward and takes her vows. It is here that she meets Father Cell, the priest who invited her. Cecilia talks about her childhood, how she drowned in a lake, died for 7 minutes, and then came back to life, while Father Cell shares that he used to be a biologist before joining the convent. But suddenly, the atmosphere around Cecilia shifts. In the blink of an eye, she finds herself back in the vow hall, where she sees a woman in a red mask lying on the floor, praying in a strange and unsettling language. In fear, she turns to leave. Mother Superior stood right behind her. She then shows her a long, ancient nail, the Holy Nail, claiming it was used to crucify Jesus. Just then, Cecilia collapses on the floor. When she opens her eyes again, she is sitting before the senior father, confessing her sins. But before she can finish, a pair of hands suddenly tears through the wall behind her and drags her into a dark, unfamiliar room, where women in large black gowns and red masks surround her, touching her body in strange, disturbing ways. Just then, she wakes up screaming in terror. It was just a nightmare. As she gasps for breath, she sees a shadowy figure standing right in front of her in the dark room. But the moment she switches on the light, it disappears. The next day, Cecilia resumes her duties and quickly becomes familiar with everything, except slaughtering chickens, and Sister Isabel, who stares at her with a cold, unmistakable hatred that leaves Cecilia confused and deeply unsettled. That night, the same unwell elder sister sneaks into Cecilia's room. She grabs Cecilia by the hair and cuts off a chunk of it. Wild, frantic, trembling, Cecilia manages to calm her down, easing her back into bed. But soon she notices something horrifying: burned crucifix marks on the old woman's feet, as if someone had heated a cross and pressed it into her skin. Days pass until one day, Cecilia's health suddenly deteriorates. She begins vomiting and suffering from severe diarrhea, so a doctor is immediately called. Numerous tests are performed. Even though it seems like a normal stomach issue, the doctor still orders a urine test, something Cecilia finds strangely unnecessary. While trying to make sense of it, she keeps noticing the same masked woman standing outside her window, lingering there as if she's guarding the room. The sight alone sends chills through her. And just as Cecilia is lost in thought, a raven suddenly whips across the wind and slams against her window with a loud crack, making her jump back in pure terror. Soon after, Cecilia is summoned to the meeting hall. a place no sister is ever called to unless something truly grave has happened. There, the senior father accuses her of breaking her vows and demands to know who she slept with. Cecilia breaks down, trembling, insisting she never had sex with anyone and that she was a virgin. The doctor supports her claim. He examined her the day she arrived and she was a virgin. As the questioning continues, Cecilia notices Mother Superior holding a file with her photograph, then quietly slipping it into a drawer as if hiding something. Confused, Cecilia asks what happened, but no one gives her an answer. Instead, they perform an ultrasound. Then comes the revelation that shatters her world. Cecilia is pregnant, just like Mother Mary, without ever having sex. Now, everyone believes Cecilia is carrying a holy child, but Cecilia herself remains confused and terrified. The convent immediately elevates her status. She now wears special gowns while the others pray before her. Yet 2 sisters, Isabel and Gwen, refuse to bow. 6 months pass, but Cecilia's symptoms remain stuck in the first trimester. Her body weakens day by day. One morning, she vomits so violently that she breaks a tooth. Desperate, she begs to be taken to a real hospital, but Father Cell coldly refuses. That night, while Cecilia is bathing, Sister Isabel suddenly tries to drown her out of jealousy, screaming, "It should have been her. They should have tried again with her." But she is immediately dragged away. The next day, Cecilia notices 2 women wearing red masks standing silently inside Sister Isabel's room, staring straight at her. She tries to ignore them and continues walking, but a heavy thud suddenly echoes behind her. When she turns, she sees the masked women have knocked Isabel to the ground, killing her on the spot. Shaken, Cecilia steps closer to the body and finds deep cuts on Isabel's face and legs, clear proof she was brutally tortured before her death. Soon after, the convent holds a quiet, emotionless funeral for her. Later, Gwen tries to warn Cecilia to open her eyes. This convent is not what it seems. But she's pulled away before she can say more. That same night, while Cecilia is lost in thought, the picture frame of Mother Mary mysteriously falls and shatters. On the back, she finds the same Bible verse left by the sister who died in the coffin, the one who tried to escape at the beginning of the movie. That's when true fear creeps in. Sensing something terribly wrong, Cecilia sneaks into Mother Superior's room and discovers her personal file. Inside is every detail about her life, her being a virgin, and even the fact that she was declared dead for 7 minutes. Now, every piece of it connects. It was all part of a plan, arranged through Father Cell, to lure her here. Just as Cecilia is processing everything she has discovered, she hears disturbing noises coming from behind a closed door. Curious and afraid, she looks through the eye-hole and freezes. Inside, Sister Gwen is tied up, and the same red-masked women, who are actually the convent's secret enforcers, are torturing her. One of them clamps a tool onto Gwen's tongue and pulls it mercilessly. Before Cecilia can even scream, a hand clamps over her mouth from behind. It's the same elderly nun who once cut Cecilia's hair. Leaning close, she whispers coldly that Cecilia will never escape this place. This hell. So, the next morning, Cecilia puts a desperate plan into action. She lets out loud, panicked screams, forcing everyone to rush into her room. Blood is smeared across her clothes, convincing them that something is terribly wrong and that the holy child might be in danger. Cecilia also knows that the convent's doctor does not visit on certain days, and she has chosen one of those days deliberately. Because of her severe condition, Father Cell and the nuns decide they have no choice but to take her to an outside hospital. Once Cecilia was taken away, Mother Superior entered the room alone. She dipped her fingers into the blood and licked it reverently, until the smell hit her. Something was off. She lifted the bedsheet and found a dead chicken hidden underneath. The blood wasn't Cecilia's at all. Cecilia had staged everything. Enraged, she immediately called Father Kell and informed him that Cecilia had staged to escape the convent. The second the driver stopped the car, she opened the door and ran into the open fields. But no matter how far she ran, all she saw was endless land with no shelter. Before long, Father Kell and his men caught her. She was dragged back to the convent, stripped, bathed, and prepared for the truth. Now, Father Kell tried to convince her to stop resisting. Told that before joining the convent, he was a biologist. After arriving here, he discovered the Holy Nail, which contained Jesus' dried blood and fragments of his tissue. This allowed him to extract what he claimed was Jesus' DNA. He then admitted he had spent 20 years trying to create another Son of God, using the DNA of chosen women. Every embryo failed, except hers. He took Cecilia to his hidden laboratory, showing her rows of tiny preserved embryos, failed attempts from countless other women. He explained that when Cecilia lost consciousness after drinking the wine that night, they had secretly performed the procedure on her. None of this was divine. None of it was fate. It was a long-planned experiment. Because Cecilia attempted to escape, she had to be punished. But unlike the others, she would not be killed, because they believed she carried the Holy Child. They heated a metal crucifix until it glowed red, then pressed it onto her feet. The pain was blinding. In that moment, Cecilia remembered seeing the same burn marks on another elder sister. That meant she too had tried to escape while pregnant. And suddenly, everything made sense. All the elder sisters in this convent weren't holy women chosen to serve. They were former subjects, kept alive only to fulfill the convent's twisted purpose and then trapped here forever. This place wasn't a sanctuary. It was a prison. No one was ever allowed to leave. Cecilia finally understood that she too would never escape. So she stayed quiet, pretending to obey as the days slipped by, until 9 months later, when things took a horrifying turn. Her body began to rot. Her nails loosened and fell off, clumps of hair dropped to the floor, and her skin started decaying. So, once again, Cecilia planned her escape from the convent. During her next examination, as Mother Superior carried out the ultrasound, Cecilia tightened her grip on the cross she was holding and stabbed her. She bolted for the door, desperate to run, but the senior father stepped in her way. Without hesitation, she wrapped the chain around his neck and strangled him to death. The doctor, horrified by what he witnessed, fled the room. Knowing she couldn't leave the convent standing, Cecilia headed straight to the lab and sprayed ethanol everywhere, determined to destroy the place that had stolen so many lives. But Father Cell arrived and tried to stop her. But Cecilia outsmarted him, shoving him inside the room, locking the door from the outside, and tossing a lighter in. Flames burst to life, swallowing everything. She ran for her life, but Father Cell, burning and enraged, broke out and chased her through the halls. While fleeing, Cecilia stumbled into a small, dark, cellar-like space. Inside, she found the lifeless body of Sister Gwen, the woman who had tried to warn her. Devastated, but with no time to mourn, Cecilia pushed forward. A window stood ahead. She reached for it, but Father Cell appeared behind her. He dragged her to the ground and immediately began slicing into her abdomen with a knife, desperate to extract what he believed was the Holy Child. But Cecilia refused to give in. Summoning every ounce of strength left in her broken body, she grabbed the Holy Nail and drove it straight into Father Cell's throat, killing him instantly. Finally, she escaped the convent. But outside, her condition deteriorated rapidly. Racked with unbearable pain, she collapsed and gave birth alone. Trembling, she cut the umbilical cord with her teeth and slowly looked at her newborn. What she saw froze her soul. The infant was unnatural. Its skin, its shape, even its cries sounded almost demonic. In that moment, Cecilia understood. This child wasn't a blessing. It was a curse. The Bible verse echoed in her mind like a prophecy. If the child lived, he would become the Antichrist. Crushed but determined, Cecilia pushed aside every instinct of motherhood. She lifted a heavy stone, with tears streaming down her face, and ended the child's life, saving the world from an unthinkable fate.
With that, the movie ends.
Please like, comment, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.